Thank you for joining us today for the virtual Sunday service with the Center for Creative Living. CCL, a charter of the Universal Church of the Master, has served and supported the spiritual needs of its community here in the Bay Area for over 20 years. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Ayleen Augustine, and it is my pleasure to do the introduction and the prayer this morning. Dottie asked if I could help out with this, and it is always such a pleasure to be able to assist with this process and to be able to bring the church service to all of you during a very difficult time. And I know we're all looking forward to being able to gather together again, and that will be, it is coming. So we just have to be a little bit more patient for a little while, because quite honestly, there are folks, Corky and Dottie and everyone else who's supporting is working really, really hard to get us back into being able to be with one another. It's just that we want to make sure that that's all done in the absolute safest way possible. So, we've got some very exciting things coming up. And through the rest of May, we have two very, very interesting talks. On May 23rd, we will have a talk on the history of spiritualism by UCM Reverend and Board of Trustee member Joyce Smith. Then, on May 30th, we will be hearing a talk called How Are We All One? Presented by Gabrielle Antolovich, who is the president of the Billy DeFrank LGBTQ Community Center here in San Jose, California. Both these speakers are really amazing, and I am personally looking forward to each one. So, we are, in a very transitional time, and with the new announcements that are coming out about being able to go unmasked, and as a doctor, I've gotten a lot of questions regarding, is it safe to do it? Should I? Shouldn't I? Does that mean I can go without a mask now? And it really is, we're still in such a transitional time. I personally am going to continue to wear my mask when I'm out and when I'm around people. Mostly because of the fact that while, I am fully vaccinated, it isn't that you will never get it and can't transmit it once you're vaccinated, and especially while we're still working on herd immunity. I have a consideration for all the people who are in those groups that are still very, very vulnerable. And as I cannot guarantee that I couldn't get it without symptoms and maybe pass it on, which is highly unlikely, and yet, for me, for my personal choice, I still prefer to sort of side on the side of safety. Now, each person is going to have to be able to figure out for themselves what feels right for them. And usually that's done by getting as much information as we possibly can and looking at what makes sense to us. So, make sure that you are as informed as you can be. Make sure that you are, getting your information from peer-reviewed sources. And also, really look within your heart what makes sense to you. And ultimately, we are going to get through this crisis. We are going to be able to see the other side of it. And for each and every one of us, we do have that ability to choose for ourselves what we're comfortable with. So if you do have any questions, I'd be happy to answer as many as possible. And I hope that we will be able to look at each other in the face very, very soon. So, as we move into that sort of quieter place when we consider a prayer, it's really important to be able, even with all the things going on, to take a breath and consider that moment of prayer. Because I know that when I pray, and I pray every single morning, I know that that is a very special time for me. It allows me to center. It allows me to just think of one thing at a time, which is spirit, which is creator and my relationship with creator. So as we go into this prayer, just take a moment to breathe. Take a moment to connect with creator however you envision them to be. Picture yourself sitting with them, next to them, and speaking your heart, speaking your gratitude, speaking whatever it is that is inside of you that you might be needing. Because a moment of prayer is a tremendously sacred thing. And while we don't always get exactly what we pray for, we will get what we need in that moment. And maybe it is to go through a challenge so that we can learn and grow and become stronger. Maybe it is to be told, well, not yet. And maybe it is to hear, I thought you'd never ask. So take a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, let anything weighing on your body, your mind, or your spirit fall aside into that little care basket next to you. Because in this space and at this moment, you don't need to hold on to them. Dear, blessed, and wonderful Creator, we thank you for this day and we thank you for our lives. We thank you for all the blessings you give in each and every moment and with each and every breath. We thank you for the blessing of transformation as we are changed by the events around us, as we grow from the events around us, as we become wiser from what we experience. Creator, we thank you for all those who work so hard to take care of people, whether it's delivering them food, taking care of our utilities, moving our garbage, or our first responders and hospital staffs who are taking care of so many people. Creator, we thank you for the blessing of this community and this church. We thank you for its leadership, and we thank you for all of those who work behind the scenes to get things the way they can be best presented to everyone. And Creator, we thank you for Dottie and Corky, who work so very hard to be able to bring the spirit of the church and to hold on to that during this time when we cannot be physically together. Creator, we thank you for all of those who are praying and asking for a better world, because we know that one day it will come. We know that the sun will shine again. We know that you stand with us in this dark time. And we also know that your will never take us where your grace will not protect us. Creator, thank you for all you give and all that you are. And whatever it means to you, we hope you have a wonderful day. For all your creation to the next 7 generations and beyond, aho matak oyasin, ago, 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 by earth, sea, and sky, namaste, shalom, assalamu alaikum, blessed be, and amen.
Greetings, everyone, and I'm going to spend a little time with you today, and I'm looking forward to this because I like me. And this is what we're about today, liking yourself. I like me. I didn't always like me. I grew up a little bit indifferent about it, but I had an amazing experience when I was about 3 or 4. And I have shared this before, but it's worth sharing again. It's all about the King of the Hill story. My father came home from a long day of working, doing whatever he was out there doing. And I was sad. So you can picture me as a little kid standing there barefoot. I got on a summer's dress. I got wild hair everywhere. Actually, I'm sure my mother had it braided. She was really good at that, doing beautiful braids. And all the other children had been playing King of the Hill, and the big hill with sort of reddish clay-like dirt piled high. But he wouldn't let me play. So when my father came home, he wanted to know why I was so sad. I was just standing there, droopy little kid, my little hands folded, head down. I was sad. And he said, Joyce, see, come walk with me. I said, okay, Daddy. And off we went. And he said, tell me why you're so sad. And I said, they wouldn't let me play King of the Hill. They said I was too little and they might hurt me. But I wanted to play. So he said, oh, I see, Joyce, see. And we walked along. My daddy was 6 feet plus, about 3 or 4, 240. Big guy. He had on his work clothes. He had on his hat. And then he started to run. He just took off. And I squealed. I'm sure I did. I can hear me now. And he was running for that hill. So I caught up to him and I shot through his legs to the top of that hill. And he stopped running and he looked at me and he was laughing and I started jumping up and down and screaming, I beat you, Daddy. I beat you. And he said, Joyce, see, you beat me. And then I got off the hill and I walked back to the house. I was skipping and jumping and running. I was the happiest kid in the world in that moment. There was no happier child. I don't care what anybody would tell me. From that moment on, I never played King of the Hill again. And the reason for that is I discovered a couple of things. How much my father loved me and how much he liked me. And the liking me was so much more important at that moment than whether or not my daddy loved me, because I felt he did. But the liking me helped me to like myself, that I didn't need to prove anything anymore by playing King of the Hill. I didn't need to prove that I could do it. I didn't need to prove that I could be better. Inside of me, there was this new fire being born that would take some time to develop and grow, but it started around 4. I liked me. I liked the experience. I was exuberant. I was excited. I was happy, all based on one simple thing. My daddy playing with me, showing me what I could do, that I could do it. And that to beat my daddy, I knew he let me do it. But that whole idea that I could sneak past him very quickly gave me a new lift in me. That's why I never played it again. There was no more to be done about that. I knew I could do it, and I appreciated myself for knowing that I could do it. So liking yourself does not have to be momentous. You know, like that big mountain we like to always try to climb. Well, get a little hill. I know you heard me. Get a little hill. You're going to be messing around with that mountain, right? Okay. You need an oxygen tank? Do you need layers of clothes? Do you have to be so fit that you can run up there like a mountain goat or something? Okay, that's a bit much. So let's reduce it down to a doable hill. Doable. This is looking at something from a perspective that fits into your life with ease and comfort. We do not have to pressure ourselves to reach a place of saying, I like me for who I am. And no, I'm not perfect. I haven't met anyone that is. Not one person. So if you have, I think that's an amazing thing. I have met individuals like myself who are learning how to like themselves, learning how to get beyond obstacles in life that grew and became far too big when they really Could have been just a little hill, even a molehill. But if you want the king of the hill, that's okay too. But when you start going into mountains, you are taking in everything that someone may be saying, all the thoughts that your mind is throwing at you, what was said when you were much smaller, or a look you got. Something is growing out of proportion, and it doesn't need to be. So liking yourself starts with just one thing, and take a good look at it. Sit quietly. Instead of blocking your life out with all the noise that you can block it out with. Television's going, music's going, you're on the phone, you're on the computer. You got all these things going so you do not hear your thoughts. Guess what? Your mind will not be shut down easily. And your mind cannot be, overwhelmed with distractions. We are talking about your mind. And we're talking about this part of you that gives you lots of information about who you are, what you can do, ways to feel about you, the world in general, friends, everything. It's called the mind. We'll just focus with that. So find a quiet place. Create a quiet place. So if that means that you're alone and you can have a quiet place, please do. If you can go to a space and occupy it and have a quiet place, please do it. You can have soft music playing. You can even put on a headset and just sit and listen. And what you will discover is you begin to hear your mind talking to you. You know that still voice? There are a lot of still voices. We're talking about your mind this time. And the mind is talking to you and giving you some information. And you will notice that what you are hearing is, it's repetitive. It repeats itself over and over and over and over again. That's okay. These are the messages you've been seeking to block daily, if not all the time. You go to sleep, and it may be a struggle because your mind is still talking to you, reminding you of something that you're wanting to forget. Or maybe it is just a reminder. Perhaps your mind just wants some attention. Give thought to that. You see, you can spend a lot of time doing a lot of things, but to give attention to your mind requires for you to focus. So here you are, you're sitting. Okay. And your mind starts to talk to you. It might simply remind you of something you didn't do today, or something you didn't do last week, or something you said you were going to do and you didn't do it, or you were going to return those library books in that drop-off box and you didn't do it. Or maybe you owe the library $3. Actually, I do. I haven't paid them yet. That's how that lets you know. My mind has been reminding me of this now for 3 weeks. Give or take a day. You forgot someone's anniversary or birthday. You see what I'm saying? This is mind messages. They're endless, and they just loop. Now, they just keep going and going and going. And then you speak out loud and you say to your mind, thank you for the reminders. I want to thank you again for the reminders. Now that you've reminded me, there is something I would like for you to do for me. I would like for you to tell me something that you have never told me before. And when you have it, you will let me know and I will listen. And then we will discuss it. Whatever it is you're going to tell me that you've never told me before. And when you do that, you will discover that your mind is very quiet. And the reason for that is that your mind is thinking. What haven't I told them? And so the mind goes looking through its record. Think about this. You have an awesome mind. There's a lot of information in there. But there is specific information that is repetitive. And that information tends to be something that is emotional based, something you believe in deeply, something that you have some sort of avoidance for. You try really hard not to think about it. And the more you try not to think about it, the more you think about it. Well, okay, I would raise my hand and say that I do that, but, well, I do. So guess what happens when I am doing my best not to think about something? That's the only thing I think about. I know, it's just the way it is. The mind says, oh, you want to think about this. Okay? So now that you've connected with your mind, did that little simple exercise, took you maybe 5 to 10 minutes, go about your business. So if you want to turn your music on again, turn it on. You're going to go make dinner or lunch or go for a walk, do that. Call someone on the phone, do that. Do all the things that you were going to do to not to listen to your mind. But you're going to notice something really fascinating, is that your mind isn't talking to you. It's busily looking for the information you've asked for. So now what do? You enjoy the silence. And when you're enjoying the silence, this is an excellent time to give your mind some new and uplifting information. This is showing yourself that you like you. Liking you is not complicated. It really isn't. We complicate things because we push in too much and we don't allow any room for things to be addressed or healed or released. And a big one these days is to be forgiven. Sometimes forgiveness is a remarkable release from the past, which tells you, tells me, tell anyone that you like yourself because you're letting go of something that you no longer have use for. You have no use for it. So if you find yourself being angry about something, upset about something, why someone isn't calling me, all of these things, forgive this. Simple forgiveness. This is not something that is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pages. Few sentences at most. I am asking. You're asking that, whomever it is, whatever it is, yourself, for forgiveness. I am letting go of what I am holding on to because I know now that I am only hurting myself and I am blocking our relationship and our friendship. So I am letting go. And I am asking for this message to follow an energy path to you from me because I am practicing getting to like myself. And to like myself means I let go of what is hurting me or anyone else that I know. It is not to be something that you look at as a chore. This is not a chore. But I do want to share something with you about asking your mind to tell you something it has never told you before. This is actually based on a story that someone told me. They called me on the phone and they said my mind won't stop and I've been yelling at it and screaming at it, threatening it. You know, all the good stuff we do when we're upset. And so it only increased. It got bigger and bigger and bigger. So they called me. They said, what can I do? I cannot work unless I had headsets plugged in and blocking it with noise while I'm doing my task. When I'm sleeping, I'm awake most of the time. I'm tossing and turning. I am tired. I'm exhausted. And I think I'm going crazy. And I said, well, what I want you to do is to ask your mind to tell you something your mind has never told you before. And she said to me, after a few seconds, she says, I don't hear anything. I said, your mind is searching and looking. So she called me back in a few weeks and she was so excited. She said, you will not believe this. I said, I will believe whatever you tell me. Tell me. And then she told me. She said, my mind came through because I said to my mind, when you have something to tell me, just say, I have something to tell you. And so her mind said, I have something to tell you at the end of a couple of weeks. And she stopped what she was doing and said, tell me. And her mind said, I have never told you that I love you. Think about how amazing that is, that her mind told her it had never told her that the mind loved her. She turned this on to others who would listen. Whether they used it or not, I don't know. I said, just share it. Because she knew a lot of people were working hard and stressed, family, business, work, responsibilities. What is the significance of this? The mind said, I never told you that I loved you. And yes, what we're talking about today is getting to like yourself. But liking yourself opens the door for loving you. This woman liked herself enough to call me on the phone to share something with me that she had only shared with her daughter. She liked herself enough to want to find a better way to relate on her day-to-day life and her life experiences. She wanted a solution that was workable, something that would work for her, something that she could do, something she could share with those who was open to receive the information. No strings attached. But she liked herself enough for that. That brought about a tremendous change in her life. And the last thing I heard from her some years ago was it was still working. She was feeling great. Life was easy. It wasn't all complicated with her being upset. And she was dialoguing with her mind on a regular basis, communicating, not yelling, not fighting. You will not win that fight. I haven't known anyone who did. You won't win it. So when you're looking at making changes and getting to know yourself, again, start simple. Start simple. Listening is one of the most simplest things you can do. And do not set up some, boundaries or borders or what I don't want to hear. Well, then you're not ready to like yourself. You're not ready to heal differences. You're not ready to let go. You're not ready to receive the gift of making life changes that are profound for you and will give you a new way to see yourself day to day. Don't just set limits. Be open. The odds are that your mind is not going to tell you something that you haven't heard. So in that loop, or all the things that you may be responding to on a daily basis, shutting it down, overworking. Some people are using narcotics to calm down, to silence and quiet their minds. Some people turn to food. Some people turn to keeping active. All of these are things that are done by us to try to find inner peace. And quite frankly, the simplest way is to listen and engage point by point, point by point. And when you engage point by point, you're creating a healing dynamic. And a healing dynamic means that you are now taking responsibility for the fact that the reason you don't like yourself is because you've programmed yourself not to like yourself. And what you are doing now is making changes in the program You're going from I don't like me program to an I like me program. I have a and, whoever thought of the a and thing, but that's another topic. But here's the point. I like me. I do. I actually like me. Now, whether or not you like me or not is your decision. It is. But for me to like me is my decision. So I like me, Joyce C. Brown. I really do. I am not perfect. I make mistakes. I can get into a negative mood. I can feel a bit tense. Ugh. I may use some words that I wouldn't normally use. But I still like me. You see, I don't let any of these things decide that I am not a likable person or I'm unlikable. That is not the way this works. What do I do when that happens? I address it. I sit with what I have done. I cleanse it. I clear it. I let it go. I talk to my mind. Sometimes it starts in the morning. I say, good morning. I said, good morning to my mind. This is Joyce C. And I said, there's something I wish to discuss with you. I had a hard time sleeping all night. And I would like for you and me to come to a peaceful term because I like you. And because I like you as my mind, I like me as the body in which you are living. Where you exist, we exist together. And I want you to know that right now, before I begin this day, I am letting go of the past 24 hours of not liking, of being angry with someone, not liking them. I liked me, but I was angry with someone else. So I'm letting them go. I am letting them go, and you are letting them go as well. And I am asking them to forgive, to let go and forgive as well. And whether that person does so or not from their soul level, it will always be up to them. But I will let go also from my soul, mind, and body because I like me. And I enjoy me. I enjoy me being at peace with my life and enjoying it. It's not easy, but guess what? It's okay that it's not easy when you know that you have solutions. Do not just accept it. I can do nothing. Yes, you can. You can always do something. Whether that's talking to yourself or your best friend that you can say anything to. Yes, they may think you're a little weird, but do they like you? Yeah, they do. And do you think they're a little weird too? Mm-hmm. And you like each other? Yes. And you can talk to this friend and say, I can't even believe I did that. And they say, what did you do? And you tell them, they say, ooh, you did that. And you say, yes. And then you talk. And they say, well, have you let go of it? Have you come back to healing that and cleansing that? And do you still like yourself? And I say, yes, but I'm not happy with what I did. This is when you go into forgiveness. And keep it simple. Do not complicate things that are not complicated. We complicate when it doesn't need to be. So what I want to say to you before I finish is this. You hold the key to your life. You hold the key. I don't have the key. All your friends do not have the key. Not even your parents have the key or anybody else you know. They do not. You have the key. It is how you will use that key to continue to unlock those doors that you've been shutting because you did not know what to do with it. So you have several choices. You can work on yourself, getting back into liking yourself, or you can talk to someone that you know you can talk to that can help you in ways that they are skilled to help you and that you trust. You have choices. But when you want to start with yourself and you start with getting back into knowing yourself, you're on an excellent path to feeling better. In fact, everyone will be stunned that you feel better. So I just wanted to share this little bit with you today to let you know you are worthy. You are absolutely, totally worthy. And I will just simply end it with a phrase that, yes, my father said to me. I told him I was going to quit school. And my father asked me, had I learned everything I went to learn? Imagine that. And I thought about it and I said, no, Daddy. He said, well, then I went back to school. So what am I telling you? Don't give up. Have you learned everything you've come to learn about yourself? To understand you, to appreciate you, and to like you? All of this fits together. And liking you and loving you, appreciating you, it all fits together. But if you get one little, I wonder what's that word I'm looking for, kink in there. You know, the one that you, and it won't go away. That is the one to take a look at. And when you take a look at it, you will see that it isn't as big as you thought it was. But remember, your mind keeps running it past you because you place attention on it. Now, with intention, I'm talking intention here. Place your intention there to discover what it is that you can begin the process of transforming your life. Keep it easy, keep it simple. Talk to yourself, appreciate you, and talk to those that you love. I'm serious. See, a lot of people can love, but they don't like themselves. I think that's fascinating in itself. But they go together. Talk, heal, improve your life, feel better every day, and give something back to you. I'm talking about giving back to you. Give something back to you that will make a difference, which will open you to be a greater person. And you will enjoy being the greater you because you like you. Have a great day.
Flourish our dreams forward in the awakened light, in the replenishing waters, in the ebb and the flow of the tide. Ooh. Our home of the earth, the seeds we can plant. The elders gather at the circle, and the youth wraps the word. The image of our soul thrown to the wind catches star and sunlight, dances us in hope again. The rites of passage envelop us in a circle of return. The arc of the future embraces us with every step. The passion in us burns. Flourish our dreams forward. In the awakened light, in the replenishing waters, in the ebb and the flow of the tide, we are a horizon, building closer, building strong. We are the moment, holding tight to our belief that all is good and all will be living long. Our home of the earth, the seeds we can plant, the elders gather at the circle, and the youth wrap the word. The youth wrap the word, and the arc of the future embraces us. The passion in us burns. With every step we grow. And the passion in us burns, and the light in us
Thank you for joining us for this celebration of faith and fellowship. We'll be back next Sunday, and for those of you, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can leave them in the comments section. If you appreciate this video and the work that the Center for Creative Living is doing, please press like on the video. You can share the video, and also please subscribe, because that will help this community and the church grow. Remember, in these difficult and challenging times, the opportunity to give and support an organization that has done so much for the community is tremendously important. Please help the Center for Creative Living continue in the wonderful work that it does. We will make it through this. We will be stronger for it. Our faith will carry us. Be blessed, be safe, and have a wonderful week.